Hello, and welcome to this session, Overview of School Partnerships with the Académie de Reims in France. We are providing this recording for you to learn more about the school partnership application process with the Académie de Reims in France. Teachers and students at pre-K through 12th grade schools across the state in any subject or grade level can benefit from teaming up with the partners in France on virtual classroom projects. This broadcast will explain how to get started, including submitting an application and understanding the current priorities and timelines for being matched with a colleague and school in France. International agreements like this, or our Memorandum of Understanding, MOU, are part of the North Carolina Department of Public Instruction's global education work, along with the Virginia Department of Education. We are happy to have you here with us today. I'd like to introduce ourselves to you just quickly. My name is Sayward Gridley, and I am joined by my colleague, Anne-Marie Gunter, who you will hear from in just a moment. We are both consultants within the academic standards at the North Carolina Department of Public Instruction and also members of the NCDPI Global Education Steering Committee. We are pleased to be joined today by our collaborators for school partnerships. And we'll hand it over now to Lisa Harris from Virginia to say hello.
Hello, I'm Lisa Harris, the World Languages and International Education Coordinator with the Virginia Department of Education. And we are extremely fortunate to be joined by our partner from France, Aurore Rambourg.
Hello, I'm Aurore Rambourg. I'm chargée de mission for the DRAREC, the adjoint à la DRAREC. And I'm very pleased to be here tonight.
Thank you, Lisa and Aurore. Here's our agenda for today's recording. We will give you a brief overview of global education in North Carolina and Virginia, talk about international agreements, MOU with France, and some background information about education in France and forming school partnerships, as well as how to submit a school partnership application, and then we'll wrap up. So in North Carolina, we have a global education steering committee that works within our Department of Public Instruction to assess and sustain the state's efforts to produce globally engaged and productive citizens. One part of that effort is that our State Board of Education has MOUs, or Memoranda of Understanding, with the public education systems in China, France, and Spain. Today, we are specifically addressing the MOU with France. These partnerships and all of those involved support the work and exchange of students and educators within collaborative projects between those classrooms of teachers paired, and also provide awards for schools and students. The NCDPI Global Education Steering Committee leads the efforts to provide statewide infrastructure and support to guide a common vision for global education within North Carolina's public schools. Our goal in North Carolina is to renew these existing partnerships and explore new possibilities. These partnerships help inform K through 12 curriculum, teachers' preparation, and professional development in both countries.
And similar to the goals of our partners in North Carolina, in Virginia, our International Partner School Program does provide opportunities for teachers, our schools, our school divisions, and also our private schools and our secondary schools and post-secondary schools to connect with schools in other countries. Our current MOU that we have with France in the same académie as our partners in North Carolina currently holds about 20 school-to-school partnerships that are active and successful at this time. And similar to our North Carolina partners goal, we also hope to support local schools and school divisions in establishing and maintaining these international partnerships, because it's important to us to support you in the preparation of all of our students as they work towards their goal of being global citizens. Some of our most successful school-to-school partnerships have resulted in long-term collaborations projects, and relationships between not just the partner teachers, but the students, the school administrators, and the communities where the partnerships are held. In Virginia, our international agreements are hosted on our World Languages Resource Hub. If you go to our Canvas site, VDOE, World Languages Resource Hub, you'll find information about international education in Virginia, including our Memoranda of Understanding and our partnership with France. Looking at our Canvas site, you'll click on the link that says International Education, and then you can scroll through the options to find our online form to apply for this international partnership opportunity.
Just like in Virginia, North Carolina has a webpage dedicated to our international agreements where you can find information about our MOUs and the work that's going on with them. You see here a quick look at our international agreements page, our 3 different MOUs that we currently have with the Kingdom of Spain, Jiangsu Province in China, and of course the Académie de Reims in France. You also see when we first had those MOUs and when their renewal year is. You can find all of this and more on the if you go to the Global Education landing page on the DPI website at bit.ly/ncglobaled. Once you get there, you'll be able to click on the International Agreements section on the right-hand side to learn more about that. Here's a screenshot too, what you find with our MOU with France. As Lisa mentioned, we are with the same academy as Virginia, which makes it very easy for us to collaborate. We are also focused on MOUs that support pre-K through 12 in any subject or grade level. And that will become important later on when we start to talk about the school partnership application. We do already have a school partnership application in use, and we have updated it recently to better reflect the information you need to share when you apply and make it easier to match you with a partner in France. Here you also see a screenshot of how that looks on our international agreements page. Once we have partnerships and things like that, we like to post them under current projects. And so you can see there on the screenshot on the right how that would look. One of the things that people often ask about the school partnership work is, how does education in France work compared to, for example, education in the US, whether we're talking about Virginia or North Carolina or just in general. And so we have a small portion here of this broadcast to kind of share that with you. I get to share these slides with you, but they were first put together by our colleague Aurora, as you can see in a presentation she gave several years ago. In general, when we think about our partners in the Académie de Reims, we know that they are just like us, divided into things like schools and divisions or districts, as well as regions. And so when we look across France in general, there are 17 different regions, 30 different academies, and academies in comparison to what we have in North Carolina or Virginia is simply like a regional school district or regional school division, as we would say in Virginia. There are also 101 départements. And so you can kind of see then with the map of France, how that lays out. We also wanted to share a little bit about how the educational system in general works in France. You see here an overview of pre-K through 5 education in France. They call it primary or école primaire. And it is very similar to ours in that there's a nursery school or preschool section. You can see students from 3 to 6 years old, so they start quite young. And then an elementary school area, and they kind of divide that into 2. So maybe in thinking about that, we would call that, let's say, primary and intermediate school. Going up into the secondary level, again, they have something quite similar to ours. They have a lower secondary and upper secondary. Lower secondary would be very comparable to a middle school or, let's say, junior high. Remember, it's also called collège, so we have to be careful about the terminology a little bit. And then the upper secondary or high school section is a lycée. And you see here that much like us, they have different paths students can follow, whether they're headed to university or to a field in career and technical education, and how that might look overall. Also in France, when we think about language learning, things are a little bit different than they are here in the United States. And so here we have on the left-hand side, the age or school level at which students in France start to learn a second or even third language, and how many foreign languages are taught. So you can see they start in kindergarten with early initiation to a foreign language. And then at the primary level, or ages 6 through 10, they're studying at least one foreign language. This might be similar to some of our elementary programs here, particularly our dual language immersion or DLI programs. As students continue on into the lower secondary level, or like middle school or junior high, they start to study a second foreign language for them. And so all pupils at that level are taking 2 different languages other than their first language. As they continue on, they continue studying those languages, and when they reach upper secondary, they might even add another language or 3 languages that they're studying overall.
Lisa and Anne-Marie have presented the different partnerships and MOUs they have with other places in the world. So in Reims, in addition to the MOU with Virginia and the MOU with North Carolina, we have school partnerships with Spain and the UK. And we also have very good relationships with Germany, and we have 2 lenders who are in our partners, Lower Saxony and Baden-Württemberg.
There are schools and districts who initially set up these partnerships with France in January of 2020. If you go to the NCDPI International Agreements page, you can take a look at more information about this. As you will see, some of them are with French classes, but we also see some within classes like the sciences or CTE or fine arts classes. You can see there's an opportunity for any classes to be a part of this partnership. We do welcome grades pre-K through 12 and not only high schools. School partnerships are available for all, and the application process happens on a rolling basis, so there is no deadline to worry about. If you are interested, we highly encourage you to apply. The applications are open to any pre-K through 12th grade school, as we mentioned before, in North Carolina or Virginia, and any subject or grade level that is interested in virtual projects with a school in France. There are a few things that we would make note of that it is helpful to have at least one of these or more. These include a language program at your school, or French that's offered at a high school if you're a high school, some sort of global or international theme within your school or your district, and maybe a local partner teacher who teaches a subject in English.
So you may be wondering what kind of partnerships are available. As Sayward mentioned, it is not focused just on language development when you create a partnership with an international school. While the choice of activities is completely up to the school or the school district, depending on your mutual interests, there are 2 main categories of partnership type activities that are common in these agreements. The first is that language partnership, which supports the development of language proficiency and intercultural competence. A world language teacher generally at each partner school is the point of contact and coordinator for project-related activities. The second broad category is a subject area partnership. These generally focus on collaborative projects that support subject area topics of mutual interest to both partner schools. Project communication is usually completed in English. However, language teachers and students may also choose to include communications in the language of the partner region if desired. A teacher of the selected subject at each partner school is usually the point of contact and coordinator for the project-related activities. So what are the requirements to have an international school partnership? As has been mentioned a couple of times, the partnerships are available to public and private schools in Virginia, in North Carolina, and in Virginia, we also have a few partnerships at the post-secondary level. When you are deciding whether or not a partnership is right for you, there are some things you can ask yourself and your school leadership to see if this would be a good fit. The first, is the school ready to commit to at least one full school year? It can be quite disruptive for the partner school to begin a project and then abandon it mid-year. So we do ask for that 1-year commitment. Next, is the school prepared to maintain regular communication between partners? And are you able to facilitate that communication via Zoom, email, or some other electronic means? It's important at this point to engage with your technology coordinators to ensure that you can receive email communications and connect with your partner school via technology to enable your projects to move forward. And finally, are both the teachers and the administrators in the school willing to support the partnership activities? Be sure to have those conversations before you submit your partnership and school profile. This way, you can ensure that you'll be able to get started as soon as your partnership pairing is completed. So are you going to submit your school partnership profile? Are you ready to get started? We have online this 3-page bilingual application. Now, don't be scared off by the 3 pages. A lot of it is really just letting us know what you're looking for so that you can best be paired with a school partner. You'll complete that application as a Qualtrics survey at the link that you see listed on the slide. You can also find it using the QR code. Be sure to let us know about your school and complete each section so that our partners will have all the information needed to complete the pairing.
So what happens once you've submitted your application? Well, I'll have the same sort of documents from the French schools and teachers who are willing to participate in a partnership, but there are very important aspects you should really emphasize. For example, the name and email address of the project leader or leaders, the number of students to participate in a project, the grade levels, the number of classes involved, and the preferred topics or project interests. This way we can find you a better match or a partner who is really interested in the same areas as you are, and it's going to be a long-term partnership.
So what's next? If you're ready to begin, the first step is to get support for the project. Talk to your school administrators, talk to potential project partners, talk to teachers and others who will be involved and who will not directly be involved in the partnership. Talk with your students, find out what their interest areas are and what projects they may find of interest. As you're gathering this information, be sure to take notes of all the areas that you want to share so that your partnership application can include as much of that information as possible. Once you've gathered all this information, you'll submit the online school profile. It's not necessarily an application form, but more of a tool used to match up schools who are interested in forming this partnership. While you're waiting for your pairing to be completed, you can engage with your technology team at your school or school district. Make sure that you are able to receive emails from the domain used by our partners in France, ac-reims ac-reims.fr. Again, that email is ac-reims.fr. You'll want to see if this can be whitelisted or put into your safe senders list by your technology team. When you receive that pairing email, please be sure to respond back promptly to establish communication with your partner and make plans to get started. And if you don't hear back within about 2 months of submitting your profile, contact your organization, either me at the Department of Education in Virginia or our colleagues in North Carolina.